To ensure the volume level on your device is set correctly, please listen to this audio and set the volume on your device so you can hear it clearly. This volume level will be the same as the upcoming livecast. You can also hover your mouse at the bottom of the livecast window to reveal a volume control you can adjust.
What's up, KBB family and the knowledge brokers? You're here for week 3 walkthrough training, and I believe this is one of the most important if you really want to make this meaningful in your life. You want to make an impact, but simultaneously create real success, or if you're already doing this next level success for yourself. This module, number 3 on marketing, could be the most important thing. If you really look at my whole life and the success I've been blessed to have, it's because of what you've already learned or gonna learn in this module. Before we get to it though, a few things. If I look off, we just had a baby. Hopefully you're watching this live. If you're watching the replay, we just had a baby a few nights ago. And then there was some, long story, a couple of complications the next night. And my wife had to go into surgery, and it was scary. So we went literally 3 days with 0 sleep, and the hospitals with all the craziness aren't allowing anybody in except the mom and the dad. So, but I'm blessed, I'm grateful, I'm thankful to God, the universe, I'm thankful for everything in life on a whole nother level today. So if I seem a little less enthusiastic, know that my intensity is the same. My caring is the same. The deliverables we're going to give you today are off the charts. I have Arvin live in the studio right now, standing by. I'm doing this at home because I got to take care of everybody here. And before we get to marketing, and we're going to start kind of high, kind of at 30,000 foot strategy, and then we'll get down to tactical. Before we get there, of course, I have to address what's going on in the world right now. I know it's crazy. I know it's scary. I know it's fearful. Of course, I'm going to address this. But I want to tell you, if you're here right now, then you're not feeding into the things that could go wrong. You're setting up the foundation to excel when it's time to hit the gas, to go to another level, to build security, to do something meaningful, to be in control of the valve of success that you could scale it when you need to. Listen, what is this causing to happen right now more than ever? We've been teaching this for 2 years, right? We just updated the course. What is one of the big components? If you're not there yet, you'll see virtual trainings through Zoom. Zoom, imagine if you owned Zoom right now. Everybody in the world, from families and personal side to every business possible. I've been on 20 Zoom calls in the last 2 weeks. By the way, I want to back up. I didn't close that loop. My son is absolutely perfect and in great shape. My wife, Lisa, is healthy and everything's fine now. We had a scary moment, but she's good now. So I don't think I closed that strong enough. So back to this. What is the world pushing now more than ever? Is virtual. What are people doing now more than ever because of the craziness going on? They're learning from home. My kids are learning from home. College students are learning from home. People that are not working or lost their job are online looking for you. They're looking for you. This could not be a better time in history to be a knowledge broker. This could not be a better time in history to be a part of this. This is not the time to go, maybe I'll do that next year. Let me hold. No, this is the time to be strong. If you watched my Monday Live, there was 2 really important things I said. These are those moments that are anchored in your mind forever, right? They're imprinted. That's the word I was looking for. They're imprinted. If you're old enough to remember when Princess Diana died, or old enough to remember 9/11, or old enough to remember something scary or traumatic in your life, you remember those moments. You'll remember this time in history forever. So what is this memory going to be for you? The time that you dabbled with KBB, you decided maybe not to do it, or the time you said, I was fearful, I was scared, I gained the capabilities, I stayed on the weekly calls, I went to the graduation, I finished it up, I got additional help, I did whatever it took to make this real, because I promise you, life will go back to normal. The economy will go back up, but some things will never be the same. And what will never be the same is more people will be doing virtual, and way more people are going to be doing self-education. You know something other people don't, and they want it, and they're willing to pay you for it, and you get to impact their lives. That's why you're here. This isn't a time, I'm telling you, don't regret not being a part of this, not staying engaged, not being a part of the community. If you didn't watch my Monday Live in the Facebook group, go back and watch it. Second thing I challenge people to do, and Arvin and I talked this morning before we went live here, we got some challenges for you. Wait till you see the ninja tip, going to blow your mind, so stay on till the end. He's going to rock your world. I gave a challenge in Monday's live in the Facebook group of go set up a Zoom call, right? And I'm going to remind you that challenge. If you didn't watch it, go see it. Like, set up a Zoom. Learn the technology side of it. If you got to Google it, if you got to YouTube it, or just go through the course, that section, we teach you how to use Zoom, and set up a call on your interest for free. This is the perfect time. For those of you going to another level and you're already in it, you're already using Zoom. Make it more interactive. Make it more fun. Those of you who've never used it, pick your skill, your hobby, your passion. I don't care if that's knitting, if that's doing hair, if it's fly fishing, if it's artwork, if it's organizing closets, if it's marketing, if it's sales, if it's e-commerce, it's painting with alligators, it's anything in between. Set up a Zoom call. Email friends that would like that information. Put it on your Facebook, put it on your Instagram, and it doesn't matter if you have 3 people show up. Do it for free. Do it, because people are needing this. Listen, I said this, we are told to have social distancing, so people are craving virtual connection. We are the people who can bring virtual connection with capabilities. Man, I'm using some really good words today. I must be this like Senate or something. I don't know. Arvin, I'll be with you in 1 minute, man. Not 1 minute, a few more minutes. But think about that. Social distancing equals people's craving for virtual connection. And virtual connection that delivers capabilities. Oh my God, that's what you do. Do not question yourself. Do not doubt yourself. You got the greatest course ever. You got the greatest community ever. We're week 3, going through a walkthrough. Now, remember, if you've already been through the course, it's good you're here. If you're already in this business, want to scale, it's good you're here. If you're crushing it, going to another level, it's good you're here. What this is a reminder. We can't go in an hour or so. We can't go through the entire course. What we're going to do is pick the highlights and remind you what's in it, to break down some pieces that might be confusing, to expose something where you go, oh, I need to go back to that section, or I need to get to that section. That's our whole goal. And we're really just working up to this week 7 where everybody needs to be on. Make sure you got it in your calendar. And we'll all celebrate together. Okay, so what I want to talk about, the mindset, and then Arvin will get to more of the tactical. Now, if you watched the encore presentation that I did during the launch, and I don't know if you guys got enrolled last year, you probably didn't see it, and not everybody saw it. So what I talked about is there's a feeling and a belief in people who don't love to sell. And most people don't. Intuitively, a lot of people are afraid to market and afraid to sell. And I want to shift that right now. I talked about this in the course. It's okay. I talked about it. I'm going to share it in a different way, but now you're with me right now. I want you to really believe this, or not believe it. I want it to imprint in you for life and be a belief. Not believe this. I want it to be a belief. And remember this, if you build it, they will not come. If you do the greatest online training, you build a course, whether you want to write a book, best mastermind, best community, best virtual workshop, going to create an online summit or take your online summit to the next level. If you're already in this business, you realize that if you build it, they will not come. That was a line from a movie with Kevin Costner, Field of Dreams. And that's the sad part of this, because people are like, I built the greatest thing in the world. I created the greatest course. I wrote the best book, but nobody came. They didn't come because of your lack of marketing. And you didn't market in some cases. Not only did you not understand how, you're like, no, I don't like that marketing thing. We're going to change that. And this module 3, when you go through it, your mind will be shifted forever. If you've already gone through it, you know what I'm talking about. Go through it again. But here's the thing. If you have the ability to impact people's lives, which you do, or you wouldn't be here, with whatever it is that your skill is. Or like when I did the shout outs on Monday, the guy doing the karate, I forget his name now, the karate camp, like the karate event in France. I think he had 140 people show up. He had someone else be the lead. He just ran the event. He got that knowledge to the world. Whether you're reporting on someone else's knowledge because you've been obsessing and studying things like Carl did with e-commerce, one of our students, or Tony did with Money Master the Game, or you're going to take something in here because we helped you unlock your superpower. The world wants that, and you can help them. People want to pay for speed. They want to pay for capabilities. They want to go faster and not learn through trial and error. So when you start looking through that framework, you realize that you're doing the world a disservice if you don't market, sell, and get their money. Let me ask you this, and I'm going to be looking right now. I'm going to be looking. If you've already gone through the course, even Module 1, to see what Tony, the energy and effort Tony put into Module 1, the trainings and the effort and energy that went into Module 2, and maybe you've been through the whole course, or maybe you're just on Module 3. But let me just ask you something. When you see about the community, you see these extra trainings, you see what we put in the course, just give me a thumbs up or a heck yes. Are you glad that Tony and I took your money? I'm just going to say it like it is. We put 60 years, we put decades into the greatest course ever to change people's lives. We're watching people in 150 countries change fundamentally in every way possible. So yeah, below right now, heck yes, I see it. Like, aren't you glad we asked for the money? Where would you be right now? What capabilities would you be missing? What technology would you not have? What aha moments of like, oh my God, I can do this? Or just you got out of your fear and you finally took action on something. You stopped sitting on the sidelines and you're just here getting ready to graduate. Would you want that to go away? Would you take your money back and then me extract all this knowledge and not be a part of this? And then you'd be in the middle of this mess going, what am I going to do with my future? How do I enter the digital economy? Who can show me? Are they really qualified? Can anybody be more qualified than Tony? I'm not even patting myself on the back. I think second to Tony, I'm a pretty damn good runner-up with him. We've been in this 60 plus years. So I'm sharing that with you because Tony and I, when we sat on our live cast and we laid this out and worked for 2 years putting this together, we weren't like, oh, we got to sell people into this. It's like, no, we created something magical. And if people use this course, they're going to change their lives forever, and they're going to change the lives of the people they impact. And those people's lives are going to impact other people's lives, and this could impact millions of people. And we went through the whole course and said, did we leave anything out? That's why the 2.0 has more. Did we leave anything out? Can we make it better? We obsessed on it so much that we love it, that we know we would be doing you a disservice. Do you know how many people were almost there? They were standing over the buy button, and they're like, and they didn't, and they're missing this. They're missing KBB. They're missing the capabilities to be future-proof. They're missing the capabilities, so they're going to wait for their job to come back. Like, who moved my cheese? It's like, somebody bring me back cheese. You guys are going out and finding cheese, right? So when I think of marketing, I don't think I'm getting someone's money. I think if I don't get their money, I don't impact their lives. I wouldn't know you. You wouldn't know me on this deep level. You wouldn't know Arvin. You wouldn't know people in the community. You wouldn't have a different sense of security inside, right? So when I feel that, why am I getting so dramatic about that? Because you have something people need. And if you don't market, if you don't make a sale, you can't help them. You know what's going to happen if you don't help them? They're going to try to figure it out on their own, and a lot of times they're going to fail. Or they're going to learn from somebody who's not as empathetic, caring, or as good as you. So when I want you to look through this frame today as we get into this third walkthrough training. Let's start with the mindset is we must market. We must sell. It's the only way we change people's lives. Listen, Tony and I, if we built this course and didn't push hard, we sent out lots of emails. We did ads that were all over. I did 70 podcasts. Tony did podcasts. We worked it. But what if we didn't do that? What if we just built the course and said, we built it. It's amazing. It's the best. They will come. You wouldn't be here. Not a question, not a hesitation. 0 chances you would be here. And that would have done a major disservice to the world. So as we get into marketing today, switch that framework like I must market. I must sell. It's the only way I can help people and the only way you can create revenue, success, and abundance for yourself. When you look through that lens, it doesn't feel cheesy. It doesn't feel bad. Listen, if you're selling drugs, if you're selling something that can hurt people, if you created a course that's a ripoff, please reconsider all of that. Don't use these tactics for that. But that's not who you are. You wouldn't be a part of the KBB family. You know you want to change lives. Now, let's go back through this module. Let's utilize what we taught you. We gave you, I didn't hold anything back. Sometimes the reason we do virtual next level workshops is to hold people accountable. Sometimes we're just the accountability police of saying, this is what we must do so you can go to this next level. But I'm going to hold you accountable right now. You're here. Follow through on module 3. Start utilizing the pieces. And I know I'm going a little longer because I know Arvin's got a whole hour of incredible training for you. He's ready to rock the house. But I want you to start with that mindset. You are doing people a disservice if you don't get them to say yes to you. I know you got something great for them. They want it. We are in a time where everyone's going virtual. We're in a time where everybody needs self-education and personalized, specialized knowledge. And they want to do it, and they want to learn from real people, not teachers. That's you. This is a time to get energized, not hide. This is a time to move forward, not go backwards. This is a time to get ready. So when life goes back to normal, you're way out in front. I don't mean leaving people behind, but just way out in front rather than trying to figure out what to do. So without further ado, and I know Arvin's got a kick-ass challenge for you. He's got a ninja tip. He's going to go over the hook story close, lots of other cool things. Arvin, I'm so proud of you, man. I know you're sitting there waiting. It's very rare that I feel so safe with our KBB family, and I do with you because I know how much you care. And plus, he's a byproduct of KBB. He bought KBB and then ended up working with us. So he comes from a place of knowing it from our side and knowing it from yours. So without further ado, let's give it up for Arvin.
Awesome. Thank you for that handoff, Dean. Congratulations on the new addition to your family. We are all so excited for you. What an amazing chapter you're about to begin. And guys, he's absolutely right. I bought KBB when the first launch happened last year, and I was just like you guys are right now. You know, I knew I had this superpower, this expertise, this gift that I had to give the world, and I didn't know how to get it out of me, but I knew there was something in me that the world needed to hear, that there was something that I could teach with my own unique ability and perspective that would help benefit the people's lives that would be a part of that. And so I bought KBB because it spoke directly to me. And I walked myself through this process, so I know exactly what you guys are feeling right now. I know exactly what it's like to work through the extracted and pull out those superpowers and have to sit there and find clarity around a lot of these questions that you've never asked yourself before. I know what it's like to step into Module 3 like we're about to right now, into this whole world of marketing, not knowing how a lot of this stuff worked and what do I need and what do I not need and what do I need to focus on right now? What is the actual truth behind what is necessary for me to go out and execute at a high level and get my mastermind to the marketplace? I know what it was like to go out there and have to sell the mastermind and talk to people about it and shift my mindset and my energy so I was coming from the right place so that I could sell authentically because I really believed in the experience that I was creating. And then it came time to actually sell it and fill seats and run my first mastermind. And I was able to go through that whole experience, so I know exactly what that's like. But the real gift for me was being a part of the KBB Facebook group, because that's what changed my life. It was the KBB Facebook group that presented the opportunities for me to build a relationship with Dean and everybody here at mastermind.com and have this opportunity to sit here right now in this moment and do this training with each and every one of you. How quickly and how radically your life can change in less than a year. If you just get laser focused on what you want, commit to the path, commit to the journey, and trust in yourself every step of the way. That's exactly what this whole experience is going to be like here with KBB for each and every one of you. But it's not just for you. It's not just the radical change that's going to happen in your life. It's the radical change that's going to happen in the lives of the people that you impact. How beautiful is that? That's why we're so excited about what we do here. That's why we love KBB so much. That's why we're just so eager to help you guys every step of the way to get these masterminds created and launched, because they truly create this incredible impact on everybody that's a part of it. And we can't wait for you guys to experience it. And so it's so important for us to really dive into Module 3 here, because it's the marketing piece. Because like Dean says, it doesn't matter how extraordinary your mastermind is. If people don't know about it, how can they be a part of it? We have to know how to market. But more importantly, what specific things do you need to do right now? What specific things are going to be the major needle movers for you in marketing your mastermind and getting it started and getting it out to the marketplace? Because there's different tiers depending on where you're at along the mastermind experience. Is this the first time that you've ever done it? If it's the first time, the marketing approach is going to be a little different than if you've done a few already. Have you already done multiple masterminds and you're ready to take it to the next level, and now it's time to start getting into some event space and start building a team? Well, we have all the steps necessary to help you build that mastermind and apply the necessary marketing principles depending on where you're at along the journey. Before we dive in here into the marketing piece, I just want to take a moment and really just kind of celebrate each and every one of you guys for showing up here on the call here with us this week. I know so much is going on, and I hope you guys are feeling a little bit like I'm feeling, because last week there was so much overwhelm happening because there was so much uncertainty and so much unknown about what our lives are going to be like. And I know a lot of that's still in the air right now, but I think we've kind of shifted a little bit, that we've started to adopt some at-home routines, and we start to kind of normalize the experience of what's happening right now. And so hopefully that you guys have been able to kind of experience what we've felt here at mastermind.com. We've kind of been able to calm down just a little bit, which has allowed us to just breathe a bit and allow us to kind of just focus on what's next. So if you found that you've been able to just kind of calm down just a little bit more than you had last week, post a comment in the chat right now and just say, I'm ready. Like, I'm ready to go. Let's get this thing moving. Let's start building some momentum. Let's dive into the marketing piece so we know how we can go out there and talk to our audience, talk to our people, and start getting these people back into this virtual connection. Because a big term being said right now is social distancing. And I want to give you guys the opportunity to reframe that just a little bit. Because if we look at it, we're not being asked to distance ourselves socially. We're being asked to distance ourselves physically. We still have the ability to connect socially. In fact, we actually have the opportunity to form deeper social connections than we've ever experienced during a time like this. And that's the gift that we have to give these people that we're going to serve, is that depth and that breadth of social connection. So let's use this opportunity to kind of reframe that thought, reframe that belief, so that it serves us more powerfully and serves the people that we're here to serve. Now, as we dive into Module 3 here, I know the marketing piece is a whole different beast. So as you have questions, as we go over these different segments, ask the questions in the chat. Rocky's over here. She's monitoring the chat for us. Give it up for Rocky. She's going to join us here at towards the end of the conversation that we're having here and answer some of these questions with us. So if anything comes up in regards to what I'm talking about with the marketing piece, ask it. I promise you, you're asking on behalf of everybody in the chat room. Most of the questions are going to be aligned with the experience that we're all having. So please, anything that shows up, ask that question, and we're going to do our best to get through as many of them as we can before the end of this broadcast here. So as we talk about marketing, if you haven't gone through Module 3, or even if you have, I'd advise you guys to just revisit it or visit it for the first time. Everything that you need to know from a knowledge perspective is in those modules. Dean is one of the masters of marketing. That's how he's built his whole empire, his whole reputation, over $1 billion in sales, because he is a master of marketing. And every single tip, tool, and tactic that he knows that can benefit the growth and implementation of your mastermind is in the module. So instead of sitting here just kind of repeating the information that's going to be in those modules, what I'd rather spend this time doing with you guys here is how do you take that information and how do you implement it? How do we actually take that knowledge that you've extracted, that Dean's already given you, and get it into your daily routines and daily habits so we can start marketing and building momentum with your mastermind? One thing I do want to address before we dive into the strategy and the implementation, though, because this is a question that we get constantly over here at mastermind.com, and it's what's the difference between a website and a funnel? And I know a lot of you guys are kind of new to the digital world. Some of you guys already know what this is, and if you do, just, again, repetition is the mother skill. The more you learn something, even if you learn it over and over again, it just solidifies in your mind and in your wisdom and your expertise. But the difference between a website and a funnel, and it's kind of cool because we compare it to education too. It's kind of like the difference between general education and specialized knowledge. See, a website is the ability to really just give the whole overview of everything you are and everything that you do, and it's all the information about everything that is in regards to you and your business and all the things that you're doing. All of that is on your website. So it's just everything. It's all that general knowledge. Whereas a funnel, which is going to include that landing page, and the funnel is what walks your client through the process of learning about your experience and then buying a seat in your mastermind. It all starts with the landing page. So the website is all of everything. And the landing page is that specialized knowledge. It's telling your ideal client exactly what they need to know that's specific to the experience in which you are creating, and walks them through the process, step A, step B, step C, so that they become an interested client to a paid client. That's the process of the funnel. And we focus on the funnel here because that's what's important here. It's getting laser focused on the experience that you're creating and making sure that they understand every step of the way so we can just handhold them through the process. And MindMint, which we have created to go along with KBB, is the tool that you will use to create that funnel. So step one is that sales page, aka landing page, giving you all the information that your customer needs about the experience that you're creating. Step two is the application page. And that's where they're going to answer some specific questions that you've identified so that you can make sure that this is the right person for your experience. And it also just makes sure, solidifies in them that this is the experience that they want to be a part of. And then once they submit that application, they go into the confirmation page. And that confirmation page is just going to be just like that exclamation point of really celebrating them for walking themselves through the process and committing to being a part of your experience. Now, I want to explain just slightly here the difference between an order page and an application page. So when you go through Module 3, it's going to give you the option. And when we talk about it, we compare it to price points. And the advice is given, if your mastermind is $1,000 or less, to just send them to an order page. And if it's more than that, to send them to an application page. But I want to speak to those of you guys that are doing your first mastermind and give you guys a piece of advice that's worked for the clients that we've worked with already. If this is your first mastermind, regardless of what your price point is, the most important thing for you to focus on is building relationships with your ideal clients, building relationships with your founding members. And so we highly advise that as you create your MindMint pages for your funnel, that you push them into the application page, that you create that opportunity for them to have a one-on-one conversation with you so that you can start building that relationship and start building that rapport. Last year I did Date with Destiny out in Australia with Tony Robbins, like one of the greatest experiences of my entire life. I was making this entire pivot in my life, both professionally and personally, and what better place to start than Date with Destiny to decide what the next chapter of your life is going to be. But I remember he was telling the story of when he did his very first Date with Destiny, when he first, just kind of downloaded what Destiny was going to be, and he just frantically spent the next few days just putting it all together. And he created Date with Destiny, and his first experience had somewhere between 8 to 12 people. It wasn't the thousands of people that he has right now. And he knew exactly who that experience was for, and he reached out to these people and said, hey, I created this experience. I think you'd be perfect for it. I'd like to invite you to come be a part of it. And he built these incredible relationships with his founding members of Date with Destiny. And fast forward, 30 years later, and he still has very deep and personal relationships with those people today because those were his founding members. And that's the opportunity that you have to present to the people that are going to be your founding members for your mastermind. Because once you get it into the marketplace and you launch that first mastermind, well, now you have confidence. Now you know you can do it, and you're going to do it again, and you're going to do it again, and you're going to do it again. And every time you do it, it's going to get better, and it's going to get more impactful, and you're going to get more confident, and your audience is going to grow, and your community is going to grow. And as you grow, everything grows along with it. And this opportunity that you have right now to be very intimate and personal with those founding members, that opportunity will no longer be there once you grow to a certain point. So I highly recommend that you guys utilize this moment to use the application page and create the one-on-one connection with these founding members, because they will become your raving fans. And when you have a solid foundation of raving fans for an experience and an impact that you're creating, you have unlimited potential of what you can grow that into. So if you're committed for your first mastermind to doing application and doing one-on-one conversations so you can build relationships with your founding members, give me a heck yeah in the chat box right now. Say, I'm doing it. One-on-ones are the way to go. Tell me that you're in. Show me. Show me that you're ready to go out there and build that interpersonal relationship with these people, because now more than ever is the time that people need to build these relationships, man. The people just want human connection so badly right now in any way they can get it. And what a beautiful opportunity for you to utilize this funnel into your mastermind to create that one-on-one connection. As you continue moving through that module 3, Dean lays out the 23-day launch process and how to properly launch that mastermind. Oh, I'm seeing all the comments coming in. Yes, 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 yes. This feed is moving so fast. I love it. It's making my energy go up just watching it. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, this is awesome. Man, I love that you guys are just playing full out. Yes, this is what the world needs right now. They need this energy. They need this life. They need this love. They need this excitement. Yes. Keep bringing it, guys. Keep bringing it. You bring it, I'll bring it. We'll bring it together. So Dean goes over the 23-day launch process. And I don't know about you, if you guys have watched the video, I remember the first time I looked at it, I'm like, wow, what incredible information. I'm so overwhelmed. Like, I get it. It all makes sense. I know this will all work. And you told me exactly what to do. And even though you did, like, I'm still struggling to figure out where to even start. I don't even know what to do here, even though it's all laid out for you. And what I want to invite you guys to do is, how can we break this process down into some very simple steps? Play the long game here, practice some patience, so that we can break the habit of either A, starting something and not finishing it, or B, getting stuck in overwhelm to where it's nothing ever gets done, right? Like, have you ever had a project, let's say, and you're like, oh man, it's gonna take forever, and you don't actually start it, and then 2 weeks later, you still haven't started the project, and you look back and you thought, man, if I just would have done like one step a day for the last 2 weeks, this would have been done. But instead, I kept looking at the project in its entirety, and I kept falling victim to the overwhelm, and I just never did anything. Has that ever happened? I know that's happened to me multiple times. So I had to learn, like, how do I break this pattern? Because it's a behavioral pattern. So how do I break that so that I can create a new behavior, so I can create a new result? And I want to like share it through the example of like reading a book. So the last book that I read, it was about 400 plus pages, real fine print, but it just had this wealth of knowledge that I really wanted to learn. And I was looking at this book, and it's like, man, I really just want to learn all these things. So my first instinct was like, I'm just going to like spend 4 days, and I'm just going to read it nonstop until I get through it. Well, that wasn't going to happen, right? I was trying to do everything at once, and I was setting myself up for failure. And so then I was like, well, and then the thought of trying to do it all at once just actually made me avoid even picking it up. So instead, I wanted to take a different approach. And the approach I took was this, and I advise that if this will work for you, to try this with the launch sequence. It's 23 steps, 23-day launch process. It's 23 steps. What if instead of trying to put this whole thing together over the course of a day, what if you just broke each step into 23 days? And the way that we can do this is twofold. Number one, it's time blocking. But I want to take the idea of time blocking a little step further. And this is what I did with breaking down reading the book, is I just committed to, all right, I'm just going to read one chapter a day. But no matter what, I was only going to read that one chapter. So it worked on both sides of the equation. First, if I wasn't in the mood to read, I knew that all I had to do was just read that one chapter. I wasn't going to read anything more than that. All I had to do was read that one chapter. So it was an attainable task to accomplish. But on the other side of it, when I was in the mood to read more, I still just stopped at that one chapter. I didn't read any more than that because I didn't want to like plant that seed in my mind that when I felt like it, I was going to overdo it until I burned myself out. And so that also just kind of set the tone for me to not only get more excited about the habit, because I knew it was like I just had to do that one task. And once I really adopted the belief around that, like I just have to do this one thing, I not only got more excited about it, it not only became easier, but I was much more intentional. I was paying much more attention about what I was doing in that moment because I knew it was just that one thing and I could laser focus on it. So I really like ingrained the information that I was learning. And so if you're going to apply this to the 23-day launch sequence, then you're just focusing on day one. And you can make that day one content really good. And you can really laser focus on what it is that you want to say and how you want to execute that one step. And let's take this a step further, because I want you guys to be successful here. right? So these are real life tactical tools that you can implement. And the second highly successful way to implement a new habit is to stack it on top of an existing habit. Now, there are certain things that you guys do every single day without fail. There are certain things that you do. We eat every day. We brush our teeth every day. We shower every day. Well, at least I hope we're showering every day. But there are certain things that we do every day. And there's one thing that I do every morning without fail, and that is I have 2 cups of coffee. So instead of trying to find time and when I was going to read the chapter in my book, I attached it to the habit I already had in place of drinking coffee. So every morning, instead of doing what I was doing before, I just started to read. Because no matter what, I was going to be drinking coffee. And I had the bandwidth to incorporate that new habit with the coffee drinking habit. So now I was able to knock off 2 habits in that same time frame. So what I invite you to do is take a look at your daily routine. Is there a habit that you already have in place that you can attach, that you can stack this new time block habit on top of? You do one and then you do the other, or you do it simultaneously. And just to take it one more step further, there's another habit that I was forced to put into my life that I was a little resistant around. So I have these back issues that I got from training that I was doing, and I have an injury in my back. So I go and I see a physical therapist, and I'm still seeing her, and she gives me every week daily exercises that I have to do to help heal and recover my back. And for whatever reason, I have a lot of resistance around doing those exercises. I keep trying to put it off. Even though I know it's good for me, for whatever reasons, I have resistance. But there's one thing that I will not forego, and that's drinking my coffee every morning. So if you're feeling a little resistance around a habit that you want to implement, then what I advise you doing is you attach it before a habit that you enjoy doing. Like, I love having my coffee. So now moving forward, I don't get to drink my cup of coffee until I do my exercises. And that's how I tie it in. And that's just the commitment that I make internally to get that thing done. And that's how we can use habits that we already have in place to help support us in building new habits that are going to create new results for us. So if you are committed to implementing a new habit, a new time blocking habit, and taking a different perspective and playing the long game here, and having some patience and pacing this thing out and just focusing on one step at a time versus trying to get everything done at once, because a new behavior will create a new result. If you guys are ready for a new result and you're committed to making that new habit, give me a heck yeah in the comment box right now. Give me a heck yeah in the chat box. I want to see this feed go up super fast like I saw it before. Show me the energy. Yes, I love it. Keep it coming, guys. It's simple little shifts that can make such radical change in your life. It just takes time for things to develop. So if we just commit to the practice and practice a little patience and practice a little grace along the way, the momentum starts to build and the results begin to create. But when we have that mindset of like, I got to get it all done right now and I need the result immediately, we just get stuck in that pattern of overwhelm and we don't see anything through and nothing gets completed and we don't actually move the needle. We don't actually grow and shift and we don't create the results that we're after. So this is the approach. This is something new and different that we can try with the expectation that it's going to create something fresh for us. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm ready for something fresh. So that's the tactical stuff. Again, go through the modules. Let Dean teach you the actual specific logistics of the marketing pieces. The point here is, how do you take that information and implement it into your daily routine with new habits into your life? Because that's the important part. Knowledge is one thing, but action is what leads to execution, which is what leads to results. Dean gives you the knowledge in the modules. This here right now is a strategy to implement and execute. And you start doing these things, and I promise you, you're going to start feeling some momentum, and it's going to feel good. But this leads us to the most powerful piece. This is arguably the most powerful piece in the whole entire KBB module. I'm pausing for effect. It's the hook, story, close. The hook, story, close. The hook, story, close, when executed correctly, will create the highest conversion rate into your mastermind than any other tactic out there. This is the proven process for Tony, for Dean, the master of marketing, the proven process for the highest conversion into any program that you put out into the marketplace. And the beauty of the hook story close is not only does it create rapport and trust with your audience, it allows you to serve from a heart-centered place. Because nobody wants to feel like they're selling something. In fact, most people that we talk to here, there's a fear of selling. Do you have a fear of selling? Put it in the chat box. It's okay. I had a big fear of selling because I didn't know how to sell correctly, because I was selling from the wrong place and I was focusing on the wrong things. If you have a fear of selling, let's put it in the chat box. Let's admit some of the fears that we have here today so we can support one another and overcoming it. Because that fear of selling is what's going to hold us back from that next level. It's what's going to hold us back from getting this mastermind into the marketplace. It's going to hold us back from creating the impact that we're wanting to create. But when we execute a hook story close correctly, it eliminates all of that. And let me explain to you why. It starts with the hook. And the hook is such a pivotal piece of this whole process. And when we do our workshops here with people, when we walk people through this KBB process, when we show them how to, when we work with them step by step, we have our professional copywriters come in and we create the messaging and we create their landing pages and we walk them through creating their sales videos and we teach them how to fill their seats. And at the end, they have this mastermind that's ready for the marketplace and they already have seats being filled with it. It's an awesome experience. But when we do these workshops, we obsess over the hook, because the hook, that's the game changer, because that's what gets people to lean in. That's what gets people to pay attention. When you're scrolling through social media and you look at all these posts and you stop on one, it's because they hooked you. They said something to you that was something that was a conversation already going in your mind, or they're addressing a fear that you have, or they're addressing current affairs and it's making you stop. And I think we're kind of experiencing all of those things right now. That's the power of a really good hook. And Dean's hook in the KBB module is, have you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and thought that you'd be further along in life than you are right now? Yes. He said that to me. I'm like, yep, I sure did. I'm 41, and I thought at this point in my life I'd be further along than I am now, right? Who doesn't think that at certain stages of their life? Of course. That's a thought that's in our head. That's a story that's happening in our lives right now. So yeah, it's relatable. The hook is what grabs their attention and what gets them to lean in and want to learn more. And right now, with as short as our attention span is, because it's shorter than it's ever been, because we have so much access to so many different types of stimulus, if we don't capture their attention in the first few seconds, the first 3 to 5 seconds, we lose them. So it's imperative that we have a powerful hook to hold their attention. Because once we have that hook, now we can lead into story. And story is when we get to connect with our people. Story is when we get to come from that heart-centered place, that sense of authenticity that not only we wanted to feel from other people, but we're wanting to project onto the people that we talk to, the people that we connect with. And I don't know about you guys, man, but never in my life, more than in this moment, have I just been craving authenticity from myself and from everyone in my life. Like I don't want any lies in my life. I don't want any fakeness. I don't want, false impressions. Like, just be real with me. Just tell me the truth. Just be honest. Tell me what I need to know. That's what I'm looking for. Isn't that what you guys are looking for too? I mean, that's the power of telling a really good story, because you get to be real. Like I loved how Dean opened our conversation today. He didn't sit there and try to project this false impression, this false energy of having everything together and this super successful self and, let's go team. No, he was real. He was like, guys, I'm sorry. Like, I just had my son a few days ago and I'm tired. There were some complications with the delivery. Thank goodness everything went well, but we haven't got any sleep over these last couple days. And I know I'm not at my best, but I'm going to give you the best that I have. And he was just real with you. And I don't know about you, but I just leaned in further when he talked to me that way. I'm like, great, a real human being. Let's have a real conversation. And that's the power of story. You get to tell people, look, I'm at where you're at. I've been where you're at. I know what you're experiencing. This is how I got through it. And when I got through it, this was what was waiting for me on the other side. And when you tell that story, you get to build authority. You get to build social proof. You get to build expertise. You get to build trust. And this is what people lean into, like, yeah, okay, all right, you get it. You're not selling me on something. You're sharing with me an experience that I'm going through right now that you've already gone through. And I trust that you can help me get to that other side because you've just kind of proven to me that you've already done it through the story that you just told. That's the power of story. I mean, who doesn't love a great story? I love a great story. That's why I love Tony and Dean so much, because they tell the best stories, don't they? So when we have a great story put in place, the next step is that transition into the make it or break it moment of any type of sales process. And it's that bridge into the close. And we've been talking about mindset, these last few weeks. And the first ninja tip, right? Remember that first ninja tip that we talked about? Is the state that I'm in right now aligned with the result in which I'm trying to create? And never in this whole process is state going to be more important than when you transition from your story into the close. I remember a couple years ago, I was at an event, and there was multiple speakers that were coming up on stages, and they were sharing their stories, and they all had programs to pitch at the end of their time on stage. And there was a gentleman up there that was just this phenomenal storyteller, and that was the experience in which he taught people how to do. And he was telling this incredible story, and the more he talked, the more you just leaned in further and further. Like, you looked around, and everybody was just like leaning into this guy. He was such a phenomenal storyteller. And it came time for him to transition into the close. And at the time, I didn't know all this stuff that Dean teaches us in KBB. I didn't know what was happening. But in hindsight, now that I see it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what happened. Because I was 100% all in, ready to buy. I'm like, I don't care what it is or how much it costs, I'm in. And then he went into selling his program, and then he kind of like leaned back a little bit. And for the first time, the whole time he was on stage, he started to add like buts and ums into what he was saying. Yeah, so the experience is, and you just felt this whole shift in his confidence. And as soon as he did that, like, I sat back. And then I second-guessed the decision. And I was like, well, it seems like he doesn't really believe in his experience, so how can I? And we want to make sure as you guys transition from your story into your close, that you are hyper-focused on your energy and making sure that you hold that certainty within yourself as you bridge into that close. Because that is the make it or break it. That's the subconscious decision that's happening right now because they're feeling your energy that's coming across. Do you believe in the experience in which you're creating, or are you focused on the fear of selling? And what we're going to invite you to do here and give you kind of some tips is how do we stay focused on the value and the experience so that we hold our energy in that bridge. So when we get into the close, there's passion and excitement and love and enthusiasm behind it. So it's a hell yes for the people that you're talking to, and they want to be a part of that experience. That's why it's so important. The last workshop that we did, I was working with this woman, Susan, and oh man, I remember we're just having this conversation with her during this process because we had already done all the messaging. We worked with the copywriters, got everything done. We had her landing pages done, and we put together her sales script for her, and which is basically her hook story close. And it came time for her to do her sales video, and man, she was so nervous, and she was really just focusing on all her fearful thoughts. And I saw her, and I'm like, Susan, what's going on? Like, tell me what you're thinking about. She's like, oh, man, I'm just really nervous about doing this video. Like, I don't know if I should be, like, trying to sell people on this. I don't know. Like, I feel bad asking people for money. And, like, I'm afraid people aren't going to want to buy it. And I don't know if I should be doing this. And, like, her whole physiology was sinking in, and she was focusing on all these fears. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have a lot of these fears when it comes to selling, right? Like, I just want to help people, and I don't want to charge money for it. And it's really just kind of the meaning and perspective that we're giving it. And so I asked her, Susan, like, why are you creating this mastermind experience? And she's like, well, because I just remember what it was like, and she's like, I remember when I was experiencing like all of this pain and discomfort in my body, and I didn't know how to get rid of it. And so I started taking medications, and it was just like I would take one medication and it would eliminate one symptom, but it would create another one. And so I'd get on another medication, and I just started trading one symptom for another, and nothing was working. And I was still just constantly experiencing this pain and discomfort in my body, and I was miserable, and like I was losing hope. And I remember how unhappy I was in that place. And so I decided to take this different approach, and I started to look into more of a holistic healing. And I saw that there was ways that you could heal your body through food, and you could heal your body through making some changes in your lifestyle habits. And this was kind of new for me. So I started exploring all of these different pieces of information, and I started implementing them. And as I started to change my behaviors around the way I ate and started incorporating more healthy foods into my life and started making these small shifts in my lifestyle, not only did I start to eliminate all of the pain, all the medications that I was taking, I started to feel better than I've ever felt in my life. She was like, Arvin, I'm 50 years old right now, and I feel healthier and more energized than I ever have in my entire life. And this is the time in my life when I've been told, well, I shouldn't be feeling this way anymore. And like right now, I feel like I can do anything. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, that sounds amazing, Susan. Like why is that important for people to be a part of? Like, why is this mastermind experience so important for people? She's like, oh my God, because people need to know what's possible for them. Like, they need to know, like, if they're in this pain, that there's other options, that maybe that by changing the way they eat and changing some habits in their lifestyle, that they can eliminate these needs for medications, and they can get to a place where they feel healthier and more vibrant than they've ever felt in their life. Like, people need to know this. And I was like, wow, Susan, how much fear do you have selling this program right now? And she just starts laughing. She's like, I don't have any fear selling it from this place. I was like, I know, that's the power of state. That's the state that we get in before we go out. We start talking about our programs. And so I was like, Susan, go in there and do your sales video. And so she gets in there and she sets up her camera, and she does her sales video, and she comes out and she's just beaming, right? She has this huge smile on her face. She's like, oh my gosh, that was the first time I've ever loved selling something. And she's like, that was awesome. And so we took it a step further. I said, I love the way you're feeling right now. Like, I can feel the vibrant energy coming off you. Let's get on the phone and start calling some people and inviting them into your experience. And she's like, let's do it. And so she started getting on the phone, and she started booking appointments for people to sit down and be a part of her experience. Because not only because it served them, but because she was so passionate when she was on the phone talking to these people, like they just wanted to feel that way, and they just wanted to be a part of it. That was the power of state. That's why it's so important, man. When it comes time for us to put together our sales videos, when it comes time for us to have these conversations with people, to invite them into our masterminds, you have got to come from that energy of this being just an absolute must for them to be a part of. Like you guys need to be a part of this experience. Remind yourself how life-changing it was for you, because that's the experience that you're creating for them. And just you have to know and you have to trust that when we put together this marketing materials and we start speaking to your ideal clients, when it comes time for you to have these conversations, they're already bought into the messaging. You've already spoken to them. They already want to be a part of it. They just want to connect with you. And that's it. That's the final piece is you're just selling your authenticity. And when you tap into that place of why you're doing this and the passion and the love and the excitement that you have for it, it becomes so easy and so genuine and so authentic to connect with your people from that place. So if we're going to drop a knowledge bomb like that on you, that we're going to tie that in to your ninja tip. So the ninja tip that we have for you, because the whole message of this 6-week training, because we are pivoting and we're going to respond to what's happening right now here in current times, it's going virtual. It's getting on video. And I know that you guys are all on different tiers out there. So here's my challenge to you guys for your ninja tip. First, I want to prepare you guys for success. So let's talk logistics on shooting video. Whether you're using a laptop or you're using a phone, number one thing is find good lighting. It shocks me how many people out there are shooting videos, and sometimes they're just like in a silhouette, right? Like you can barely even see who they are, or it's just kind of like dark lighting. You don't really like see their face that clear. Explore with different parts of your house, or if you're going to step outside, if it's quiet, explore with different types of lighting and see where do you have the best light, and use your phone. Because you can use that option on your phone where you can reverse the video and you can see yourself. Guys, let's give you a little perspective here. Some of the highest converting videos that Dean has ever done have been on his phone. Like, yes, we have this studio and it's great and it's awesome that we can produce these high quality videos, but some of his highest converting stuff is him at home on his phone, just talking to you guys. Because it's not so much the production as it is the connection. But do make sure that while you're setting yourself up, that they can see your face, that it's clear, and that it has good lighting. And the second step would be take a look at your background. Notice the background behind me. It's very simple, right? We have some green behind. We have our Mastermind logo, but that's it. We don't have like all kinds of decorations and things, all these distractions happening on behind me. Because you want to be the focal point of the video. So make sure as you're looking, look at your background and see, is there a lot of distraction happening? Or does it kind of have like a clean look where people can kind of just find a little bit of calmness and focus directly on you? Now, if you have a tripod, tripods are great, right? We can set up a tripod and do a video, but that doesn't have to be a reason why you can't do it. You can just grab something and lean your phone up against it and you can still shoot a video. It's very simple to do it. So don't let these little things, be careful of those things that show up in your mind as distractions, like, oh, I don't have a tripod, so I can't shoot a video. Yes, you can. We'll solve the problem, right? Now, once it's time to get on video, priming yourself before you get on camera. And again, that's just getting on state like we were just talking about with Susan. Right? Just make sure that before you get on that camera, that you've already got yourself into that place of how do you want your audience to feel, right? Do you want your audience to feel excited? Then be excited when you're on camera. Do you want your audience to feel loved and supported? Then like really shift yourself into that loving and supportive state when you talk to them and connect from that place. But again, make sure that you are in the right state first before you get on camera. Because again, remember what we talked about with that hook? We only have a few seconds to connect with them. So if you're at a low energy and it takes you a full minute to get up to a really good energy, you've already lost them. No matter how good the messaging is. You got to have the energy behind the words. So if I already get myself into a really good place first and then get on camera, then boom, I'm already into that instant connection. Maybe one of these days I'll let you guys kind of watch what I do before I hop on camera here, because I'm running around doing all kinds of crazy things to get myself into a really fun, energetic state, because I really want you guys to be engaged and have fun while we're on this conversation together. I want you guys to stay engaged and connected. So it's a necessity for me. It's a must for me to make sure that I show up that way with you. So as we take these tips, get on video, look at lighting, set up your environment, and make sure that we're in a good state. I want to take your ninja tip a step further, and I want to challenge you guys. Now is the time. Now is the time for us to get this into play. One of our clients for a workshop, Calvin, I coach with him as well, and we were having this conversation last week. I was like, right now we have a very small window where whoever uses this opportunity to go virtual is just going to be miles ahead of everybody else. So I asked him, like, how long do you think it would take for you to set up your first Zoom meeting? He's like, probably a couple months. I'm like, a couple months? Do you think we have a couple months? This whole thing could be over in a couple months. Like, if the window is going to be closing, when does this need to get done? He's like, I think it needs to get done this week. I'm like, yeah, it needs to get done this week. 2 days later, Calvin launched his first Zoom meeting, his first Zoom community. 22 people showed up because he just got really intentional, just got into action and just made it happen. And so as you guys accept this challenge for the Ninja Tip this week, it's to get on video. So if you've never been on video before, my challenge to you is this. Create a video and post it on social media. Get over the fear of other people's judgments. Nobody's judging you. If they don't like it, they skip to the next video. If they do like it, you're starting to build raving fans. And just get on that video and talk about what you're creating. Teach them something that's aligned with the mastermind experience that you're going to be putting out into the marketplace. Start getting some reps into establishing yourself as a leader into your community. If you're already shooting videos, but you've never done a live before, then my challenge to you is to do a live. Go on Instagram Live or go on Facebook Live. Because it's one thing to shoot a video where you can stop and make edits. It's another thing to be live like you and I are right now. If you make a mistake, well, you just got to keep going. But lives make you feel alive. I love going live. There's just like so much adrenaline that's happening in here, right? Like you're in the moment. It's really exciting. So I would love for you guys to experience that feeling. So if you've already made videos and you're already doing lives, then your third phase would be to create your sales video. Do your hook, story, close. Go watch the modules that Dean has on hook, story, close. Watch them a second time and really put together that process for you and create that hook, story, close video and walk yourself through that process. Create that sales video. Share it. Let people see what's out there. Let's take it to that final step here, because once we have a well-executed hook, story, close sales video, that's when we can start creating high conversions into our masterminds. That's my challenge, should you choose to accept it. Do you choose to accept it? Give me a heck yes in the chat box if you're going to accept that challenge. If you're going to get your face on video, or if you're going to go live for the first time, or if you're going to put together that hook, story, close video. Now is the time. Most of us are at home right now. We have more time at home than we've ever had. We couldn't ask for a better opportunity to start practicing these skills. Now is the time. Yes, I love it. Yes, let's go. I'll do the live right now. Yes, 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 yes. All right. As promised at the beginning of the video, we're going to do a little Q&A, and then we're going to finish up with this week's winners for some mastermind.com knowledge, blueprint, swag, and merchandise, and 2 tickets to the World Summit. Rocky, you want to come on up here and join us?
Yes, I do.
Yes, let's bring Rocky to the video.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, this is so exciting.
I know, I'm so stoked. We got some amazing questions here in the chat. I just wanted to say, you guys are amazing. The community is just on fire, and there's so many awesome questions, and everyone's answering everyone's questions and being super supportive. So, I love this family.
Yes.
Yes.
Question 1. You want to kick it off? You want me to?
I'll kick it off. Sounds
Okay.
great. Okay, let's do it. Okay, so we're going to start with the tech question since we're in the marketing world. So question number 1, before launching my mastermind, do I need a website? This question was everywhere. What should I do with my website? How do I learn how to do a website? The answer is no. Okay, now you can relax. You don't need a website. The whole point of your mastermind is not to just look the part and not to just be, oh, I'm so successful. You should trust me because I look like I have everything together. No, that's not the whole point. The whole point is for you to turn your mess into your message and to help other people who have been or who are where you have been, and you're able to bring them out and transform their lives. So the whole point is to just really focus in and just dial into Mindment and really just take those action steps to just get those seats filled. Because it's not about what it looks like or how many followers you have or how many, how good you look on social media. It's about these lives being transformed. So just lean on into Mindment. Just plug everything in. It's super, super easy. You just have to plug in your information and then get those seats filled so then you can focus on the real transformation. So you don't need a website. Just plug in what you need in Mindment and get those seats filled.
Yes, guys, I had such a big smile on my face because I'm watching all of these positive comments about Rocky on the feed. Thank you guys so much for giving her so much love and support, man. This is so exciting. Okay. What technology should I use for time blocking? How can I make it perfect? See, Rocky has an advantage. She already knows the questions she's going to answer. I have to answer these on the fly. Ooh. Let's focus first on the power of words. How can I make it perfect? Perfect to me does not feel good. Perfect to me is is the lowest standard because it's impossible to achieve. You can't be perfect. Why would you strive for it? What would be a healthier word that we can use there? How can I make it perfect versus how can I make it effective? How can I make it stick? How can I make it consistent? What technology should I use for time blocking? The technology is a tool. The effectiveness to time blocking comes with the internal commitment. You can use a Google Calendar. There's all kind of apps out there where you can set up time blocking and they'll give you little reminders on your phone. But it's irrelevant if you're going to look at the reminder, set your phone down, and just keep doing what you were already doing and not do the task. The real secret here is if you're going to make a commitment to that time blocking, it must be an unbreakable commitment. And it becomes an unbreakable commitment because you are so dialed in to the reason why you're doing this that you're going to see this through no matter what. And understanding that this is not just about you. There are people out there right now in dire need of the impact that you alone have the unique ability to create. And they are waiting on you to get up, get into action, and get this thing into the marketplace so that they can be a part of it. We'll have to get real serious on there for a second.
Yeah, shake that off. Shake that perfectionism off. Woo! All right. Question number 2 or 3. Should I use what's happening in the world right now to my advantage in my mastermind? If so, how do I do that? Yeah. Absolutely, yes. And I want to use this as, I want to give you an example. So I was talking to one of our KBB family members this morning. Trish, if you're watching, hey. And her main focus of her mastermind is she really wants to help people build an unshakable and unstoppable mindset no matter what stage of life that they're in, when they're feeling like they're stuck and they can't go anywhere, how to really build that up. And she really wanted to do an in-person mastermind, and she wanted to have everybody together, and she just loved that idea. And as soon as everything happened, she took a time to really sit within herself, and she goes, immediately, how can I serve? How can I serve the people who I know I'm born to serve according to these circumstances? So what she immediately did is that she created a Facebook group. And in that Facebook group, she just invited people that she already knew, who she knew that she could help. And then in there, she went, I did my first live. I just did it. I just went for it. I was scared, but I just did it. And in that, she was able to address really what's going on in the world and how she just took fear down and took peace back into these people's minds in implementation. And she was just totally herself and just being completely authentic. And she's like, well, I don't know if that worked. So she just kind of let it be. And then the next day, one of her people who were in her group was her hairdresser, and just called her up and was like, that really helped me. Like, thank you for that. Like that, I was feeling a lot of fear, and that just really made me feel a lot of peace. So thank you. She's like, it worked. Woo! Like, oh my God, it's working. And those are just the people who are actually going to say something. If you're going out there on a live, if you're going out there on a whim, you create a Facebook page, something online where, a lot of people are bored right now. Give them a place to put their attention, something healthy, something amazing, and give them a place to really grow. And even if you don't get any feedback, some people are scared to give feedback. That was just one person just to say, hey, that helped me. But there's always going to be people who just don't say anything at all. So remember that when putting yourself out there, it's not about all the feedback that you're getting right now. It's just about the practice of you stepping out there in confidence, knowing that you have a powerful message and that there's people out there who are ready to receive it. Whether you know it or not, I know you know it in the depths of your soul, but you might not see it immediately yet. But keep planting those seeds over and over and over, and it will start to grow. And now is the perfect time to do it, because people need you more than ever. No matter what area you're in, like she had mindset, everybody has mindset, but if you're in the dentist industry, no matter where you are people, and they're feeling fear. That is universal. How can you show up for them in this time and use it not only to your advantage, but your advantage to help people transform their lives? They need you more than ever. So to answer that question, absolutely use it to advantage in your mastermind, and just show up. Show up for yourself and for the people who you're born to serve.
Oh, I love that. I think you would agree that as coaches, that's one of the favorite moments that we have, is when we lead somebody into an action and we get on the call with them after, like, oh my God, it worked. Like, yeah.
It does.
Well, we know. That's why we led you to the action. It's because it works. Last question here, and then we're gonna pull the winners this week. Ooh, here we go. I really want to dive into marketing, but I'm afraid I will look stupid. What do I do? How can I feel confident? How do you feel confident? What comes before confidence? Come on, Dean tells us this every week.
You know it. If you know it, tell us in the chat box.
What comes before confidence? Because this is like, we hear this all the time with coaching, is I want to feel more confident. I want to feel more confident. Well, confidence comes after you've already done the work and have earned the right for the result. That comes at the end. Before you can be confident, you first must be courageous. It's courage that comes before confidence. And so when we're sitting here, this is fear, right? But I'm afraid. We're all afraid in that first phase. Every single one of us that get to the other side are afraid first. We just have to be courageous. We have to focus on the right thing. I'm afraid I will look stupid versus when I show up, I'm going to serve people at such a high level. I'm going to create so much impact. I'm going to create these radical changes in people's lives that I'm going to improve the overall quality of the way that they live. And these people need me to show up this way. They need me to be in this space. I must do this. That's it, right? Like, it's where do we want to put our focus and attention and shift our energy and feed that energy? That's the whole difference here. You wouldn't be watching this video if you were not meant to do this. There are millions of people out there that don't want to be leaders and running their own masterminds. You do. You were meant to be a leader. You were meant to create impact. You were meant to step up, face your fears courageously, overcome them, and step into that other side of leadership, of impact, of love, of grace. And it's there where you get to feel confident. But first, you must be courageous.
Mic drop.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up with some winners for this week.
Are we ready for the winners? Are you ready?
Ooh,
Tell
they are
us.
ready.
So ready. Okay, let's do
Drum
this.
out of the hat?
Yes. All right, so we have our beautiful mastermind hat, which we'll be using for pulling our names. We picked out some hand-picked names.
Yes, from last week's post, right? It was what was your superpower? And before we draw the winners, I just want to share a few of the superpowers because they were so cool. David Nodowitz, my superpower is helping private investigators evaluate, analyze, and clarify audio, video, and cell phone forensic evidence to help their clients, mostly attorneys, get clarity.
So specific, I love it.
That's clarity.
That's clarity right there.
Kelly Craig, my superpower is taking all the codependency traits I've learned through years of family addiction with my parent, siblings, and even my own son, and turning those lessons I have learned into powerful tools to help families with a loved one in addiction to heal and find joy in their lives again. Like Rocky said earlier, taking that mess and turning it into a message. She took a painful moment in her life, incorporated some tools and principles that she practiced to get out of that, and now she's turning around and teach other people how to do the same. It's beautiful.
It's amazing.
Sherry DePerno, My superpower is biz systems. I teach business owners how to create systems so their business will run efficiently, profitability, and without them.
Woo!
That's right. Being an entrepreneur means that you work on your business, not in it. And it sounds like Sherry teaches you exactly how to do that. I love it. Such great superpowers. Thank you guys so much for playing out and sharing these posts. Let's draw some winners.
All right, for this one, we have...
Well, it's still the hat, right?
Oh, well, let's do this one last because we need it for our...
Gotcha.
It's our bowl.
Well, we're not going to actually give it to him right now. We're going to mail it to him.
Okay. All right, so this will be for the hat.
For the hat, the winner is...
Joe Dietrich.
Joe Dietrich, you just won yourself a
Joe,
Mastermind.com
get
hat.
the hat.
Yes.
Woo! All right, next we have our Mastermind water bottle. Keeps it cold or hot all day.
Winner of the cooler is going to be...
Douglas Smith.
Oh,
Douglas,
yes.
you get the water bottle.
Douglas
Smith. All right. Next we have our Underdog Advantage, Dean's new book, and it's a signed copy for you.
That's right. Signed copy by Dean Graziosi, Underdog Advantage, and the winner is...
Millie Mission.
Millie Mission.
You got the Underdog Advantage. Woo!
I love it.
All right.
Better Life Journal.
Better Life Journal. Who has one of these? Put it in the chat.
I love this journal.
I know, it's amazing. It's so great. Hey, you could use this even for your time block. You can put your commitments in here.
Absolutely. And you get every day, you get to start with a motivational quote to get your mindset right.
Absolutely.
Who's going to get their mindset right every day moving forward? The winner is...
Beth Terrell. Woo!
Terrell.
Beth! Woo! Better Life Journal.
Which means we have one winner left. That's going to be the lucky recipient of 2 tickets to the KBB World Summit. We're going to have speakers like Brendan Bouchard and Jenna Kuchar and Marie Folio. And of course, Tony and Dean are going to be headlining this event on World Summit. 2 tickets. The winner is... Oh, you want me to draw it?
Yeah. The suspense. Tara Hooliman.
Tara Hooliman. Yes.
Tara.
Awesome,
Yes.
guys. We love giving away these prizes, man. We love celebrating you guys here in the KBB family. We're going to leave you with this week's post because we're going to draw some winners again next week.
Pay attention.
We're going to make it real simple for you. So this week's post, we want you to post in the Facebook group, the post that's pinned to the top, what is your hook? What is the hook that's going to get people to stop scrolling?
You got to hook
What
them
is
in.
going to be that one that's like, ooh, I need to know more about that.
thing. Draw me in. Draw me in.
We'll have that posted up here later today, guys. Add that hook, and we will see you next week.
See
Bye,
you
guys.
then, KBB family.